If playing with your child feels awkward or boring or like just one more thing that someone is telling you to do that you should be doing as a good parent, then there's probably more to that feeling than you realize. I'm Amy, a former special educator turned homeschool mom, and I help homeschool parents of kids with big behaviors understand what's really driving those behaviors so they can create calmer days and more cooperation at home. We've spent the last couple days talking about how valuable play is for your child's development and for your relationship with each other, but there's another side of this conversation that deserves this attention too. What if you really don't enjoy playing? Because knowing that play is good for children doesn't suddenly make pretending to play interesting for you. You may sit down on the floor with every intention of playing, and 5 minutes later you're thinking about the laundry, the email you haven't answered, or what you're making for dinner, or the schoolwork that you didn't finish, and 15 other things you could be doing. Or play itself may just genuinely feel uncomfortable. Sometimes that has a lot to do with the way you grew up. If you grew up in a home where productivity was highly valued, then sitting around doing something without an obvious outcome can feel really wasteful. And if adults didn't often enter your world and play with you, you may not have a model for what that looks like. And if you learned early that being responsible or helpful or mature or in control was important, then letting yourself be ridiculous with your child can feel surprisingly vulnerable. Then add adulthood on top of that. You're carrying a household, you're homeschooling, you're thinking about appointments and meals and money and activities, your child's needs, your own work, and whatever else is living in your mental load that day. Play asks you to loosen your grip on all that for a few minutes, and sometimes that's really hard. This is where I want us to have some compassion for ourselves, because turning play into another parenting expectation completely misses the point. You don't have to become the mom who spends 3 hours on the floor playing Barbies if you hate playing Barbies. Part of making more room for play can simply be figuring out what play actually looks like in your relationship with your child. For me,